herself. She
Yes.
began the introduction.
Huh.
Sounded more confident, definitely.
Okay.
Length of the discourse, I mean, she could speak for a longer time.
Exactly. Yes.
There were many things she touched upon.
That's right. Yeah.
I think
She
she was more
moved
forthcoming.
from one.
She was more forthcoming the second
Yes.
attempt, right? Yes. Okay. So if you look at, yes, if you compare these two performances, right. Okay, thank you. Attempt 1 and attempt 2, this is what you will see. In the first attempt, she spoke for about 42 seconds, whereas in the second attempt, within a gap of 1 week, she spoke for about 1 minute 27 seconds. And then, yeah, as you rightly said, first attempt voice was low, she was shy, and whereas second one, she sounds confident, it sounds natural as well. And then she began with the greeting, she introduced herself, right? And then first attempt, she said, I show a lot of interest in listening and learning more. Which is not related to the topic actually. Whereas second one, most of the sentences are relevant, what she was doing in that particular year. And yeah, I got the coin 2013, second attempt, I got this 1999 year coin. This was the year when I got married. So look at the sentence construction, yes. And then many repetitions in the first attempt and false starters, lots of gaps. Whereas second one, I had even tried. So look at those fillers, I had even tried. And past perfect form. I had to become a teacher at that moment and at that time, actually. So she has used a range of discourse markers. She was able to connect one sentence with another. So this is what I mean by, task. These are the advantages of repeating a task for a period of time. Maybe you can do it one more time. Attempt 3 could be much better. Her performance will be much better in the third attempt. So, if we look at performance 1 and performance 2, we understand that teachers have, she has made small, I'm not saying that it is perfect, speech is perfect, she was able to develop accuracy in her speech. It's not that. You don't see a quantum jump in her speaking, but there are small qualitative gains in their speaking. The teacher has demonstrated growth in her speaking by enriching the content in the second performance. She has used conjunctions, she's used appropriate language expressions. She was able to rephrase sentences to convey better meanings and by being more aware of tense forms. And growth is also varied across different teachers. So this is another interesting thing. When there are 40 teachers, see the growth of each teacher is different. The trajectory of growth is different. For example, teacher 1 may learn to use the correct word form and correct word order in sentences, whereas teacher 2, if you analyze, you will see, teacher 2 may learn to use appropriate articles and prepositions, whereas another teacher, maybe she may learn to use more appropriate vocabulary and auxiliary verbs. So thus, it may be concluded that growth will always be varied and needs to be captured in that manner. This is what Jacob Tharu says in one of the interviews. So you have to capture that growth, individual growth in their speech, and you can apply this to writing as well. How they show different trajectories of growth in their speaking over a period of time. So, second performance, you will see significant improvement. And Scott Thornbury says, he argues that this is a systematic repetition where they activate and reactivate the same set of cognitive processes. In real life, we may not do it, whereas it's very important to do it in the classroom, which facilitates learning, and I thought we could use it for assessment. So it's a very systematic kind of repetition, and Scott Thornbury says fluency happens in the brain. So first time they plan, they rehearse in the first attempt. Second attempt, they don't worry much about the task, about the topic. They are processing it in their brain, so they're able to speak much more fluently. So it's not mindless rote memorization. They plan, they assemble, they repeat in a genuinely communicative context. So it's not a repetition at the level of words, not even at the level of sentences. It's not like drilling, it's repeating the cognitive process. And Martin Bygate, in his 2018 article, he argues that task input which consists of planning and rehearsal. So first attempt is task input. They try to understand the task, try to follow the instructions, they plan, rehearse. And that is performance 1. And then they reflect on it. And as teacher educators, we give them feedback. That's simple. We give feedback, they reflect on their performance, which helps them do better in the second attempt. So second performance, you can go on performance 2, 3, 4. But what is important is not repeating the same task with a different variable. So you have to change the variable. Same task, you have to change the variable. So coin minted in different year. So they'll have to think and then speak about it. So same task, you can apply this logic to other tasks also. You can change the mode. Maybe from speaking, you can move on to writing. So same task but different mode, speaking to writing or reading to speaking, unrecorded to recorded, and then fluence to accuracy. Maybe in the third attempt, you can focus more on accuracy part. So they can revisit the tasks after a month as well. So I have found out that this is very useful and teachers gain a lot from this process. Okay, so this is a process. I mean, this is called assessment for development. We use assessment data for developmental purposes, and we share the improvement they make over a period of time. We share their trajectory growths during the training program. And the other assessment, as you have seen, they'll have to, these are other tasks. I mean, spoken English is one of the challenges, especially for government school teachers. So they say we want more spoken English sessions. So we have storytelling sessions, presentation of articles, and teaching practice. Again, they'll have to speak for about 30 minutes in English. And then there is an oral test. So we follow the same logic actually. Like before they tell stories, we encourage them to record it. They record it, they share it on WhatsApp with other teachers. That's a kind of planning rehearsal. Then they present the story in front of the whole class. So same thing applies to article presentation. They read, write a summary, and then they make a whole class presentation. And all this is recorded in digital portfolios. We have digital portfolios. Can I open the link? Just show one sample. Is it possible? They create their own portfolios online using Google Sites. Is it possible? Okay. Yes. So this is one such portfolio. Yes. Right. So if you look at, so this is about themselves. They introduce themselves, and then yes, an amazing journey with RISI. Yes, and then they also these are tasks related to reading and then writing. They create flip books and their reflections on teaching practice. So whatever task they do, they reflect on it. They record their reflections on their portfolio. And so this is about teaching practice. This is about their classroom research. They have to do a small research study called exploratory action research. And then they reflect on the speaking task as well. I'm sorry, I can't see this here. And then they narrate critical incidents from their classrooms. They present articles, reflect on it. So portfolios are mainly used for reflections, for recording their reflections. Yes. So can I move on to the slides? Yeah. Okay. So I can show you other portfolios as well, but we will, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So So we begin with needs assessment, as you rightly said, begin with a needs assessment, which is done online. Then we conduct a pre-test, and this is a weightage given to different assessment tasks. And then we conduct a post-test as well online. We did it during COVID actually, online tests. Otherwise it was all done physical through paper and pencil tests. Okay. And the assessment data, at the end of the training program, they get a certificate, a grade certificate. Each teacher will get a grade. So if they complete the course successfully with a good grade, A+ or A, they get lots of professional development opportunities. That State Department will use their services in textbook committees. Textbooks are prepared involving some of these best teachers. And that's one of the criteria for being a part of the course book development committee. They should have done training at RIE, and they also act as resource persons if they get good grades as master trainers at the district level, state level. Some of them also get deputed to diets where they work as teacher educators for 2 to 3 years. So these are the advantages of getting a great certificate from a training institute. And then, so at the end, we collect their feedback about assessment. What differences do you see between the ways you assess your students and the ways you were assessed at RIU during the 30-day CLT? I collected this data for this conference actually. So what's the difference between how you assess your students and how you were assessed during the training program? And this is, I'm just quoting them. So one teacher said, I saw a lot of difference between the way I was assessed at RIE and how I assess my students in school. The most important one is all that according to the expectations of the parents, we focus on the marks rather than the skills in English. Now I am modifying myself on par with the teachings of the, And second one said, I have changed the tools and techniques of assessing students. Earlier the students had been assessed only, we were assessing only their knowledge, but now assessment is being done to assess the learner skills and creativity. So you can see some change. It has had some impact on teachers. And should we have such assessment activities in the 30-day CLT in future? Almost, 97% teachers said yes, it's necessary to a great extent. But some teachers said exploratory research is not required in a training. They find it hard actually to do research, collect data and all that. Okay, so do you think we could have assessed your English language proficiency in any other ways during the training? Some of them said every day each individual should get a chance to speak something in the English language. So you give more time to presentation of the participants rather than sitting and listening to lectures. Sometimes that's what they felt. And how do you think we can assess your pedagogical knowledge and teaching skills? Some of them said we could have been asked to prepare TLMs. That could have been one assessment task, preparation of teaching learning materials, and then asking open-ended questions on different issues in teaching English, and sharing different ways of teaching. Teachers' success stories, how they teach in different ways, using different techniques. That could also be assessed. So how else can we make sure the teachers are involving themselves and doing their best in the in-service training programs? Some of them said asking each and everyone to make some activities. You can ask us to design activities, asking everyone to prepare some language games, asking everyone to conduct stage programs. All right. How did the above methods of assessment help you in conducting assessment in your own classrooms? Did you make use of or adapt any of the above assessment activities in your classrooms? I think this is where they are not very clear. I didn't get satisfactory responses from teachers. Like, yes, they said, this is what they said. And the next one also, what knowledge, competence and skills do teachers require in order to conduct assessment in their classrooms professionally, effectively and meaningfully? What skills, competence do they require for classroom-based assessment? Again, answer is not so satisfactory. But again, they said teachers should know the target learning outcome, should be able to use suitable tools, techniques for evaluation, should be objective, constructive in nature. Right, second, this is another response. Can I move on? Yes, I'll continue. Yes, right. So, one of the challenges is, however much, assessment you do, unless there is a separate component on testing, evaluation, assessment, it's very difficult to raise their awareness about assessment. So, developing teachers' assessment literacy, that should be a different focus altogether. That's what we lack in our teacher training curriculum. Assessment component is weak actually. We assess teachers, but we don't raise their awareness about testing and assessment. And the other challenge is to make this as an institutional practice. Those who are interested will bring all these changes, but how do we make it an institutional practice is again a challenge, and how to develop rubrics for assessing speaking, for capturing their growth. What are the rubrics? That also seems to be a challenge. That's it. These are the references. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.